Hey there, I am back with the top 12 decks of 2022. 2022 was a banner year in playing cards for me personally, with so many of my favorite designers launching amazing new decks. We also saw fulfillment for the largest playing card campaign in Kickstarter's history with Vivid Kingdoms, and of course, for myself, reaching the finish line for my own deck with Rattler Gorge was a fulfilling experience like no other. I can't thank those of you who joined me on that journey enough, and to have a deck out there with my own name on it will always be one of my proudest achievements in this hobby. But we're here to celebrate the best of the best, those decks which to me stood out above all others. It's always hard to limit things to just 12 decks, and I'd love to know what you think. So let me know down in the comments what your favorite designs of the year were and which picks you think I got totally wrong. But with that, let's kick things off with a few honorable mentions. These were the decks that just missed the cut, but I thought were special enough to deserve a mention on the video anyway. And we'll kick things off with the first honorable mention with 4 clans from Doc's Playing Cards and designer Brad Gabbard of Native Tongue Studios. This one goes back to feudal Japan for an exploration of a war between 4 fictional samurai clans. The tuck on the standard version, admittedly a bit on the simple side. There are other versions of the deck that feature elevated tucks with foils, etc. But it's done to look like the cord wrappings on a classic katana. Nice use of colors on this one, but the cards are really what stand out to me. The back design is a really bold and fun one, built around the 2 menacing samurai masks with those cross katanas, and the faces are full custom, my favorite way to do a deck. I love the artwork on these, and I really like the use of that off-white color for the background. It's made to look kind of a little bit more vintage, the little bit of extra shading in the ink there. Just gives it a nice overall vibe to it. Everything's fully custom. I love the design template made to look like a classic screen, but it's the court artwork that stands out more than anything else. These are done in a really cool comic book style, very dynamic images, and great varieties you go through. Each one of the suits is meant to represent one of the 4 clans, and you get such a diverse cast of characters. I really love the depictions on these. That King of Diamonds is a particularly good one. The variety of weapons, etc. Just a really cool look to this one overall. It's a great deck, really well thought out, well executed, and well worth the first of the 3 slots on the honorable mention. Next up, we have a deck from Theory 11 with Lord of the Rings. Now, when I heard there was going to be a Lord of the Rings deck from Theory 11, I was immediately excited. But when I heard that Kevin Cantrell was going to do the artwork, I was completely sold, and this deck did not disappoint. Tuck boxes, always a highlight of Theory 11 decks, and this one is one of the best. The green and gold foils on this one really stand out. Beautiful embossing and just so much detail on this one. Kevin Cantrell's known for just packing detail into his designs, and this one, combined with the rich amount of source material from Lord of the Rings, really pushed it to the next level. Great references to the movie all the way through. Just a really well done tuck box, but the luxury doesn't stop there. The cards themselves are done with brilliant gold metallic inks, that dark green color. Back design, again, packed with details, and the cards are full custom as well. Tons of characters featured all throughout from the many different different parts of the movies, and I love the aces on these. Each one of them big, bold, and features scenes from the movie, from Gondor to the Shire. There's the Ace of Hearts, one of my favorites, the classic view of the Shire with Gandalf in the front. Custom pips, something you always get from Kevin Cantrell decks, and these are fantastic. And then the court cards, which I think do a great job of combining that classic bicycle vibe, I guess I would say, but of course using characters from throughout the films. I think they're really well drawn. It's tough to pick just 12 characters to feature on the deck, but I think Kevin Cantrell did a great job in representing them on these cards. Just great artwork, great source material, and an all-around fantastic deck. Theory 11 always does well in bringing luxury to the market at an affordable price point, and very few decks exemplify that better than Lord of the Rings. So great pickup, fantastic deck. And then the final honorable mention goes to Curio Playing Cards for Ink Beast. Now for this one, Curio teamed up with tattoo artist One Young to create a deck around his personal style. Right from the tuck, you can feel the dynamic and bold style with that giant lion staring at you, wrapped around 3 sides of the tuck box and done in that really nice, shiny holographic foil. It's a great start, and that holographic vibe continues as you go through the cards themselves. Full bleed back with bright holographic foil with that kind of wallpaper pattern made up of the lion's faces in the back. Something that, by the way, looks fantastic in a fan. And the faces also make nice use of the holographic foils. You see holographic accents all the way through in addition to the gold metallic inks. And I love the tattoo style that One Young puts on all the cards. I love the wisps of ink or smoke almost like coming off of all of the pips. Dynamic styles all the way through and just a really bold design. And the court cards are fantastic in this one. These, in the spirit of the ink beast portion of the deck, feature beasts from all around the animal kingdom, and you get a wide variety of different animals, all of them drawn in this really menacing fashion. I love the look of these, particularly that Jack of Clubs, the octopus. That's a really great one. And a nice variety of animals throughout. Just a really well done deck that in a lot of ways typically wouldn't be my style, but this one's done so well that it really won me over. This is hard to believe, but the second deck only from Curio. So really excited to see what he has in the future. I know we have the Botanica decks coming soon and hoping to see a lot more designs from him in the future. But anyway, that does it for the 3 honorable mentions, but there can only be 12 decks that make the final cut. So who's it going to be? Let's start the countdown. At number 12, we start the list with Vivid Kingdoms from 1000. 1000 is an artist and popular YouTuber who did a series of videos designing this deck on his channel. Well, when the deck finally launched, it funded in seconds, and before the dust settled, it was the most successful playing card campaign in Kickstarter's history, raising over $2 million. Now, with all of that success and fanfare, it's got to be a good deck, right? Well, it did not disappoint. Now, I got to say, for me, the tuck box, especially with this sleeve on it, not my favorite, but you can get some glimpses as you open it up into some of the fantastic artwork. He definitely is a super talented illustrator. The tuck box is not the highlight by any means for me. You got to get to the cards for that and to really appreciate how good the art is on this. Great, fun, well-designed 2-way back design on this one. Lots of details and fun designs on this, but the faces really amp it up even more. Super vibrant artwork on all of the court cards, really bring everything to life. Just every single card has custom artwork on it. There's no real story, no rhyme and reason to the characters on this one. Just a lot of different creativity out of 1000's mind. But my favorite part has got to be the number cards. Usually the pips aren't the highlighted decks, but these, every single one of them has little illustrations. And not only do we get all these fun illustrations, but they form a giant mural of their own. If you put different cards together, like we'll take this 7 and 8, for example, they form an entire giant mosaic of their own. So all the cards fit together to form an amazing illustration that all fits together. It's a really cool concept and just a ton of phenomenal artwork all the way through the deck. You can spend forever poring over details and finding all the little bits and pieces in this one. It's a fantastic design from a first-time playing card designer. I know playing cards are not his main thing with the YouTube channel and everything, but I gotta say, with a deck like this, you gotta hope that there's more in the future, because this is just a truly outstanding deck. And so that's number 12 on the countdown, but let's keep things going. At number 11 on the list is Mistborn from King's Wild Project. Mistborn is a fantasy trilogy from author Brandon Sanderson, and it just so happens to be my favorite book out there. Now, when I found out there was going to be a deck based on this one, I was super excited, and it turned out that we had a long wait before the deck finally reached our hands. But when it finally came out, I couldn't have been happier. I gotta say, the tuck box, a little bit lackluster, just the plain blue kind of stone texture on this one with the silver writing. Not much to write home about with the tuck box, but stay with me because the cards are worth it. Back designs are fully foiled and super bright and rich. The blues and the silvers really pop really well on this one. And the faces of the card feature some amazing artwork. Now, surprisingly, the art on the Jokers and the Courts didn't come from Jackson Robinson himself. He instead worked with artist Gregory Titus to produce the artwork on these. And Titus did a phenomenal job on them, really bringing the characters to life. Everything is highlighted with accents of foil on the faces of the cards. The aces all feature the backgrounds with the metals, which if you've read the books, you know how those play into the Almanac magic that's a big part of the books. But the real highlight is the artist Gregory Titus's work on the court cards. The court cards are truly amazing pieces of art, featuring those same metallic backgrounds and really doing so much to bring the unique characters from the story to life. You have the Lord Ruler there, Sazed, just amazing drawings, the shadowing, the shading on these, and just the incredibly detailed depictions of the characters really just, I don't know, I couldn't have asked for more on this deck. So really excited to get this one, not only because I'm a fan of the books themselves, but because it's just great artwork on the cards and something that introduced me to somebody who I hope draws another deck in the future. Gregory Titus, amazing job, and Jackson Robinson for just pulling the deck together, the work with Brandon Sanderson and with Titus to make this a reality. Kudos to everybody involved. Love this deck, and well worth that number 11 spot on the countdown. But 10 more to go, so let's keep things moving. Number 10 on the list is Forbidden Forest from Humble Raja. This deck dives into the mythology of Southern Asia, and it's a theme you don't see explored all that often. I'm always excited to dive into a new theme, and so was excited to get my hands on this deck. Tuck box, really well done with that animal skin kind of texture there. The embossing and foiling really gives us a unique texture, and those bronze foil accents against the black look great as well. And then as you get to the cards themselves, more great art abounds. So you get the foil that's used on the back design here, made to look kind of a marbled texture that looks great in fans with that borderless design. And then the cards themselves feature some really nice artwork as well. Love the bold use of colors on this one. Lots of bright greens and oranges and yellows that all come together to really bring in some nice art. But with most mythology themed decks, you're going to want to go to the court cards to really see where the stories come to life. And I love these. The different characters you see on here are not all that commonly known for a lot of people, but really fun to dive into all the stories of the unique characters like Jambavana, the wise sloth bear, for example. If you want to find out more about some of the stories of the characters here, definitely recommend checking out my longer form review where I really dive into the mythology. It's well worth it, if you ask me. But that is the Forbidden Forest deck from Humble Raja. Great theme and, of course, great execution. And all of that combines to make this my number 10 deck. Number 9 on the list is another deck from a first-time creator. This is Shogun playing cards. It comes from Neuro, who's a longtime collector who, like so many, had a dream of putting together his own deck. Worked for years on the design, and the result was well worth the wait. Right from the Bashero and Newton printed tuck box, you can get that impeccable foiling and embossing that they're so well known for, and a really simple, elegant design, clearly inspired by the Japanese flag. This is the Rising Sun version of the deck, and I love the clean elegance of the white tuck box with the pops of color on it. Really great look to it, and even includes some really nice interior foiling to go along with it. And the cards really continue that artwork. Right from the back designs with the koi fish swimming in that river of ribbony color there. Another great look in fans thanks to that borderless back design. And the artwork on the cards is really cool. It's done in kind of a watercolor style. You can see the splashes of color in the back, and it tells the story of some of the battles and the heroes of the Edo period through the aces and the courts. Really nicely done artwork on these. Every single one of the cards is custom and gives you that real sense of elegance all the way through. And like I said about the court cards, love the look of them. The characters on them, the dynamic looks, the spatters of watercolor in the back almost look like spatters of blood in some places, kind of bringing you back to the battles that must have been a big part of that era. It's a great deck and really hard to believe that this is a first-time creation. So many well thought out elements in this one. It's a fantastic deck and really hope that Neural has more in the bag for some future decks because there's some real talent here and just an amazing design. One of the best decks I've ever seen from a first-time creator, and really got to hope that there's a second deck on the way. But there's Shogun playing cards for number 9. From a first-time creator to a long-timer in the industry, Heartless from Third Way Industries comes in at number 8. I love the lore that Gio is able to create in all of his decks, and Heartless is an original story. It's the story of an angel who was sent from heaven to take over the Nether, and in the process ends up falling in love with the demons as she steals their dark hearts away. It's a fun little story to go with it, and a great deck, of course. This is the Nether version of the deck, one of the more limited versions from the campaign, and in my opinion, the best of the bunch. Features red and purple foils against a black tuck box, great color combination, and of course supported by Giovanni's outstanding line work throughout. You get the interior foiling as well, more of that bright purple, and since it's a limited version of the deck, we have a gilded deck as well. Purple gilding, an unusual color, but a great match when you mix it with the purple and red foils. Yeah, 2 different colors of foil that are used on the back design. It's such a great color combination, and just for one more pop of a surprise of color, we have red card faces to go with it. Just so much vibrant color, gold metallic inks as well, and some great line work on every single card. It's a great deck with every detail of it so well thought out. And of course, the courts have that familiar Giovanni styling, great look to them, and I love the impish nature. And I also love the little demons that are popping up all over the place. That demon sort of became a bit of a mascot for Third Way Industries, ever since the release of the deck. It's a fun story behind the deck, great artwork all the way through, full custom, of course, and just a really fun deck all around. Big fan of Heartless. 3 different versions of the deck, but like I said, the Nether version here with the purple gilding has got to be the best of the bunch. But that is number 8 on the list, so let's keep things going. At number 7, we have another legend in playing card designers with Stockholm 17 and the Oddfellows. This deck was launched on Kickstarter and also marked the first ever Portfolio 52 deck. And what better designer to work with for that one than Lorenzo? The deck is inspired by an odd or slightly insane cast of characters out of Lorenzo's mind, and it just features a really fun, vibrant line. My favorite of the Kickstarter campaign has to be this one. This is the Brass Monkey deck, done in those teals with the pearlescent stock and the bright orange foils. And you can see the nice little cutouts here, the die cuts, giving you a little peek of the cards inside as you look through the slightly mad face of the Brass Monkey. It's a beautiful tuck box, and the cards inside are a lot of fun as well. So many little details in the artwork everywhere, a really bizarre, strange little back design here, and great artworks on the cards themselves. One of my favorite Ace of Spades that you'll see anywhere. Really great look with the Brass Monkey there. And then I love the little detail of the little symbols that are added to all the different pips. Unique illustrations on every single one. Gives you a fun little thing. There's little Easter eggs that are hidden all over the place. Just a really fun little touch to the deck. And the court card artwork I immediately fell in love with. It's vibrant, it's bright, it gives that sort of twisted vibe to the classic court cards. You can see the elements of the classic royalty, but given that strange and bizarre twist that just fits in with the rest of the theme. It's a great set of courts, and a great celebration for a really unique deck overall. Like I said, multiple versions of this, lots of different Oddfellows, and even more to come in the future. But arguably the most desirable of them was also released in 2022, and that's the Dr. Crow. This particular one was exclusive to patrons and features this crow wearing a plague mask as the main character, and is a beautiful deck. Love the colors on this one with the fluorescent greens and the black tuck box. Just a beautiful deck in its own right, and another great one to add to the line. Just gives you a sense for some of the diversity that you can get in the Oddfellows. It's a great series and a really fun one for this year. So really glad to be able to get this one, and happy to add it in as number 7. Third Way Industries makes a second appearance on the list with deck number 6. This is Memoria. Giovanni is a master storyteller with his decks weaving some fantastic tales through the courts and the jokers, and none of them though have as unique of a take in my mind as Memoria. See, this is meant to be a deck where you write the story yourself. It's a journey through a hero's memories, but with cards that are meant to evoke your own memories. It's a really cool concept and features a fantastic tuck box. Like some of the best tuck boxes out there, this one was done by Bashero and Newton with some beautiful, vibrant, multiple colors of gold foil. The embossing, just so well done on this one. Gives it a really regal appearance with some impeccable work. And the cards are nice as well. You get some nice cold foiling on the back to give you that nice bright shiny look to it. The reds and the golds really show out nicely on this one, and the cards themselves are beautifully illustrated as well. Heavy use of metallic inks. Giovanni does that very often with his, and every single one of the cards feels like an explosion of color and metallics that just really bring everything to life. But the real story is told in those 4 jokers we were just looking at, but especially in the court cards. See, like I said, this is a journey of self-reflection. And so the idea is that the hero's journeying through his own memories and encountering all of these different personifications of his most powerful memories. Some of these might evoke a time that you had a particularly good meal, maybe your first love, or maybe a big regret that you had at some point, or a time you felt trapped. It's a really cool idea and sort of encourages you to write a little bit of the story yourself as you put yourself into the story and relive some of your own memories. It's a really unique concept, and one that I think is so well done and just sort of signifies some of the creativity in Giovanni's storytelling. And if you want something even more unique, check out the gilded version of the deck. It's done on a gold mirror paper. It's a really unique idea and a paper that I've never seen used before, but it creates a deck that you won't forget. It's so bright, so shiny, and of course features that gold gilding as well. A really memorable little extra on this one, and the mirror kind of gives that extra little symbolism with the look into yourself. Another really cool idea and concept in storytelling from Giovanni is exactly why this one lands at number 6. At number 5 on the list, we have Pagan Circular from UC Playing Cards. Usually I don't do decks that are revisits of existing designs, but in the case of something as unique as a circular deck, willing to make an exception. This is a part of a long line of decks in the Pagan line, going back to some of the initial playing cards, as well as the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot deck. They're all beautiful, illustrated by Linnea Gitz, who, as you'll see, has some amazing talent. It does have the unique tuck box here that opens up in the middle, kind of splitting in half almost, to reveal the uniquely shaped cards inside. UC decided to borrow on not just the classic cards and their artwork, but also draw inspiration from some of the circular decks of the past. And the result is beautiful. Features the same back design pattern that you'll see on other UC decks. Beautiful touches of gold in there to really give you a unique and elegant feel. But the artwork on the cards themselves are really what stand out the most. Linnea is an amazing artist, and it really comes to life as you go through these cards. And I'll flip ahead to the courts. because that's where some of the best artwork is. And you'll see how beautifully these are adapted to that circular style. And because it uses the tarot quartz, you get a few extras as you go through this one, not just the standard 12 quartz. It's amazing artwork with characters inspired by some of the pagan heroes of the past. But probably my favorite part gets into some of the extra cards, the planetary cards in this one. This one features an extra little line of cards. Kind of think of them a little bit like the Major Arcana or something like that in a tarot deck, but each one of them inspired by one of the planets and features a personification of that planet. Like there's Mother Earth, or there's Ares on the Mars card. It is a fantastic look, a great addition to the deck, and the moon phase cards with the gold foil on them, even another extra little touch. Great use of the theme and revisiting to some amazing court cards, but given all new life in a circular version of the deck. It's such a unique touch and a great addition to my collection. Really glad to have it on the shelf, and it's my number 5 deck. With one of the most unique tuck boxes that you'll ever see, the Origin from Sky Member Presents comes in at number 4. Now, this one was not without its share of drama. After a wildly successful Kickstarter campaign, it hit pretty much every problem imaginable during fulfillment. You had production delays, budget overruns, poor communication, and they even had to hit up backers for additional funds just to be able to ship the decks. And to this day, not all the backers have even received their decks yet. That said, for those who did, they were treated to a unique experience like no other. This Austin Ho illustrated deck is inspired by the story of Adam and Eve and the creation of the world. It features a beautiful double thick tuck box with pearlescent stock, the bronze foiling featuring the image of Eve on one side, Adam on the other, and then stylized to look like an actual book. It's a beautiful touch, and a nice little addition in the campaign came with these acrylic boxes that included etching to add to the design even more when you placed it on top. Beautiful touches, but the really special part comes when you open up the book. Inside is an amazing piece of art. Half of that double thick tuck box is dedicated to this 3D cutout. Individual laser cut layers that are put together to form this scene of the Garden of Eden. You can see the tree of knowledge in the center. And it's just a beautiful touch, something I've never seen incorporated into a tuck box before. A unique concept and super well executed. And then the other side is where we can get to the cards themselves, and those are beautiful as well. This is a gilded version of the deck, so it includes that holographic foil. Always a nice touch with the gilding. And then heavy use of metallic inks. Now, if you've seen the spiritual predecessor to this deck, the Olympians deck, also designed by Austin Ho, you'll recognize some of the style of this one. You see the phases of the moon, the serpents from the story there, and the cards themselves are beautiful as well, featuring some religious imagery. Beautiful sort of weathered style to the deck. The gold metallic shine really nicely, and I love the court cards, which feature these beautiful images of Adam, Eve, and God as they progress through the story. It's a beautiful deck all the way through, super well done, including, of course, that fantastic tuck box that really makes this one unique. So despite all the challenges this one faced and the well-deserved criticism, I gotta say the final product was stunning, and so still worth that spot on my top 12 list. Well, we've reached the final 3, and we kick things off with Prescription Almanac from Meadowlark Playing Cards. Meadowlark has a few other decks in their past, all of them outstanding, but this one may be their best yet. They worked again with Electra, who did their Blue Jay Dentistry decks, another fantastic design. And this one's inspired by the almanacs of the past. Those vintage almanacs featured ads for different medicines and cure-alls within them. Just a fun theme for the deck overall. And this particular one, Volume 2, features a book tuck box that really captures the vibe incredibly well. Multiple colors of foil, designed to look like a book complete with gilded pages. And on the back here, you'll see all sorts of random ads, including little hidden messages like the Blue Jay Dentistry tooth powder here, a reference to the previous Electra design deck. It's a cool look to it overall, a great unique tuck box with a great blue-green color, and opens up to reveal the fairly nondescript tuck box inside. But don't be fooled, because the cards are a lot of fun as well. As you open this up, you're treated to a back design with more of those bright colors, that blue-green color, the gold metallics, and that busy design that really fits well with that Almanac theme. You can see almost like the little ads all over the place, like Never Sold in Bulk or the Prescription Almanac Metal Art Pharmacy. And the cards are a blast as well. Making use of gold and silver metallic inks gives it an extra little shine, and you'll see these ads on just random cards throughout the deck. Some of them, not much on them, but some like the Ace of Spades or the Five of Spades here feature ads for some of the many medicines that you might find offered in the pharmacy. It's a cool little touch, so random all the way through, and you'll find Easter eggs all over the place, like this one, the Nine of Spades with the 9 species of healing spades, which even mentions a list of some of Electra's previous decks. Fun little touch, and to add those Easter eggs in there, and you'll see great illustrations all over the deck. Great vintage vibe to it, and a unique feel to the artwork on this one. Just such a great concept, and it is a blast to go through this deck. Great deck, and like I said, Metal Art's best yet, and that's really saying something because all their decks have been excellent. But kudos to them for Prescription Almanac, which I think is an outstanding effort this year. And so, well worth making it up to my top 3. At number 2, we have one of the most unique playing card experiences I've ever been a part of with the Eye of the Ocean from Stockholm 17. Now, we all know that Lorenzo can make an amazing deck of cards, but with this one, he really put to the test his ability to craft a world around the decks. And no item in the campaign exemplifies that better than the stunning leather-bound volume that accompanied the decks. Even includes this mounted astrolabe that spins on the front, all of the symbols and mysterious bits that you can see on the book, the astrolabe, and the decks, then combine to form an entire puzzle that you can solve as you explore the mystery of the Eye of the Ocean, a mysterious island lost to time. It's a great addition. I loved solving the puzzle. It was a well-designed puzzle. And of course, the decks themselves are beautiful as well. They feature embossed tuck boxes with really delicate foils on them, and some nice little cutouts here that give a little bit of an extra touch, and of course, play a small role in solving the puzzle as well. As you open up that uniquely shaped tuck box, you get what is always a highlight of Lorenzo's work, the artwork on the cards themselves. Beautiful back design, super intricate, complete with cold foiling to accent some of those details. And the cards themselves are beautiful, not the least of which is those amazing court cards. Lorenzo has a distinctive style and really brings it to play in crafting some mysterious feeling cards detailing some of the different characters that you might find on the island. The cards themselves all the way through are full custom, and you'll even see the map details in the background. You can actually put all of the cards in the deck together to form a single large map that then becomes a part of solving the overall puzzle. It's a beautiful deck with symbols and mysteries to uncover all the way through. And whether you just like the artwork on the cards or you want to dive into the whole thing and solve the mystery for yourselves, this is one of the most amazing playing card decks that you will ever see. So kudos to Lorenzo for the Eye of the Ocean, yet another amazing deck of cards. But there is still one more to go, so let's find out which one took the prize. Well, it all comes down to this. My number one deck for 2022 is Sensu from Jack Brutus Penny. Jack is a writer and artist who lives in Japan, and he was responsible for the Culture Animalis decks from a couple of years ago. Amazing decks in their own right, some of my favorite from that year, and ever since then have been looking forward to a second deck. Well, with Sensu, Jack delivered in a huge way. It's a deck inspired by the Japanese folding fan, and it delivers on that theme in the most unique way that I could possibly imagine. And it also serves as an amazing canvas for Jack's incredibly detailed artwork. Right off from the tuck sleeve, you can see intricate cutouts, super fine embossing. They give you a level of detail that's amazing right off the bat, and little peaks of the color inside. But as you slide that sleeve off, you are treated to an explosion of color and detail. This is the core of Jack's art style. He does incredible scenes that are packed with details. Lots of different colors that are used on this one, the blues, the oranges, and of course the accents of that pink foil. Pink foil, this is the summer fan version of the deck, and so it features that pink foil that's reminiscent of a cherry blossom. Beautiful look to it, and details on every side of the tuck, every square inch cover. Even features a nice fan-shaped tuck seal, again in keeping with the theme, and interior printing with even more details. And then doesn't stop there, the cards packed with artwork as well. Back design done in the same style, more of that packed in artwork, this time accented with pink metallic inks, a unique color there. And as you'd expect for a deck inspired by the folding fan, this one looks amazing in fans as well with that borderless design. But fun doesn't stop there. As you get to the faces, you'll see something really unique on the number cards. At first, a little bit jarring. Features this white block in the center with kind of a classic playing card on a playing card. So you have the diagonal playing card here with the classic, pips, the index in the corner, some nice little ornamentation on it, and then some sort of seemingly random artwork in the corners. And as you flip card to card, you'll see that artwork sort of continues. Looks a little bit random, but it's not. In fact, this is the core of the theme right here. See, if you take these cards and you fan them in a particular order, fan them just right, you'll actually see that artwork on the sides combines to form an entire scene. This one of Mount Fuji with the rising sun in the background, and you can fan the cards in different orientations, whether they're fanning all the cards from a single suit, fanning all the cards with the same rank, whatever it is, you can fan them in different ways to produce different artworks. It is a stunning detail, and I can't imagine how complicated it was just to come up with the concept for this one. It's mind-blowing to me how much Jack was able to achieve just with that concept and the unique feel and the unique take on the theme. It is an amazing deck that I could spend hours going over. I have spent hours playing around with, and I'm discovering new things at every turn. It is an amazing sophomore deck, just the second deck from Jack, and I cannot wait to see what other crazy ideas he's got. One of the most creative and hardest working artists that there is in playing cards today. His work is incredible. If you haven't seen this deck, go check it out. If you haven't seen his previous deck, Cultura Animalis, go find that one. You will not be disappointed. And that is why this one rises to the very top of my list. Sensu is my #1 deck for the year. Well, there you have it. That's a wrap. My top 12 decks from number 12 to number 1, the best decks of 2022. It was a great series of decks, all of them featuring stunning artwork, unique concepts, and of course, my favorite, engaging stories. Loved all these decks and loved so many others that I had to leave off the list. So, like I said at the beginning, make sure to let me know down in the comments what decks you think I should have included on the list. I'd love to hear what your favorites of the year were. But that said, this is my list and I'm sticking to it. So hope you enjoyed this journey through my favorite decks of the year. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and more unboxings in 2023 because there are more to come. Make sure to let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.